Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Thursday, February 29th, starting up the mentoring session right now. So I'm just going to set up the room real quick and we will get started shortly with the session. Things. I'm Maddie over here blowing on my DMs, sending me his profits. It's all good. All right. It's been a while since I did a mentoring session. All right, looks good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the mentoring group. All right, guys, welcome back. I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, I think there's not really much to cover today. The main thing is just the breakout V3 that we took here. I'll cover the PRB, but moving forward, we're probably not going to be taking the PR. Well, I'm not going to be taking the PRB, so it's not really going to be much of importance. And I think we'll be fine with the breakout V3 here too. So what I'll do is I'll put up the data here that I put up that I sent you guys yesterday. All right, I'll put this data up over here so that you guys can see. Let's make some space here. It's easier to see for you guys. All right. All right, so here goes the data. All right, guys, looks like the majority of you guys are here so far, so welcome back, guys. Today is Thursday, February 29th. This is our mentoring session for the day. I want to start off by showing you guys the results that I pretty much came up with for February. Not really the results, but just the data that I pulled. And this is the big reason why I'm deciding to go with the breakout V3 versus the PRB. So here's the data for February. So for February, the PRB had 11 wins, 8 losses, total trade of 19, 3 net wins, total profit gain of 75 points. And if I was taking a 10 contract, it'd be a total profit of 3,750 with a 57% win rate. Compared to the BV3, there was 14 wins, 5 losses, total trades of 19 trades as well, 9 net wins, total profit gain of 225 points for a profit potential of 11,250. So you guys can see it's a huge difference between the PRB and the BV3. Here is it together. So if you add the PRB with the BV3, there's 25 wins, 13 losses, total trades of 38 trades, 12 net wins, profit gain of 300 points, but the profit total would be 7,500 because we'd be using half contracts. So as you guys can see, there's more wins for the combine and there's more point gain, but because we're using half contracts, the profit is a lot less, right? The main reason why I'm focusing on just the BV3 or why I'm choosing just one is because we started to run into this problem yesterday where the trades would go opposite sometimes, right? It happens during a ranging market. When that happens, you can't have a buy trade and a sell trade on NinjaTrader. You have to choose one or the other. So that becomes a problem because what if the PRB hits and the BV3 loses and then you cut your trade early because you can't have both trades running at the same time. So what I decided to do is I have to choose one or the other, right? Which I chose the BV3, of course, because you guys can see the big difference in numbers here if I was to focus on just this one here. So I guess moving forward, I'll probably focus on the BV3. In the future, maybe I'll make some adjustments or maybe I'll figure out a way to take both. But at this moment, you guys can see the numbers, the numbers are straightforward. It's obviously the better strategy. And this was a strategy that I've deep tested before. The PRB is still technically in testing, but the BV3, I've tested this years and years behind to make sure that it worked well. And it does work well all year round. So yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding that, feel free to pop into the chat. But moving forward, I'm going to be taking the BV3, which is short for breakout V3. And that's the entry that we took here. So if you guys want me to go over anything specific, let me know. But I'll go over the entry here. And I'll just explain why we entered this trade. It's a very simple strategy. It's not very difficult. It's more straightforward. It makes more sense than the PRB for a lot of people. So this is another reason why we want to stick to this specific strategy here. So basically, the first step for the BV3 is you want to look for a V1 pattern, right before the entry. So we have a sell signal right here, and we have a red candle after it. This is a breakout V3 entry. The confluence that we need here is we need a V1 pattern above because we're looking for a sell. So right here, you can see there's a V1 pattern because there's a double body rejection. The reason why we look for this is because these double body and double wick rejections are typically reversals, right? So you can see how price came down, came up. We had a double body rejection right here. Price came back down. And this entry here for the breakout V3 was a continuation that we were looking for. So once we had that continuation there, this is where we took the trade for the breakout V3. We let the trade run, played around for a bit, and went straight to profit target within 3 candles. And that's the entry that we took there during the live session. And that's how I made this profit here, pushing me back into profit for the week. So I made 1,500. I took a 12 contract size. From the data, it shows that we don't really have very many back-to-back losses. So that's why I figured I'll just up the contract size to 12. If I'm not feeling comfortable, then I'll probably use 10. But I'm okay with eating a win, eating a loss, eating a win, eating a loss, etc., as long as I end up in profit by the end of the week or by the end of the month. So I'm okay with taking a 12 contract size. Of course, that's not going to be ideal for everybody, but for me personally, I'm tired of going back and forth. If you guys can see, I've been doing this challenge for over a month now, and I'm still not funded because we had a lot of back and forth, especially when taking both of the strategies, the BV3 and the PRB. I'd go into profit, break even, lose a trade. So I go a whole week with like 1 trade or 2 trades, and I just wouldn't be able to meet the threshold. Right now, currently, one of my accounts is at 155,000. So I basically need like 3 more trades to get funded on a couple of them. So hopefully, and you can see how the profit differentiates across the account sometimes. It's just a copier, right? Sometimes a copier, sometimes it's a slippage. Sometimes these don't enter at the same exact price point, which happens sometimes. Like for example, this entry here, the candle kind of spiked very quickly on open. So some of the candles or some of the accounts didn't get in at prime entry, which is completely fine. It just happens sometimes. But it's fine, I'll deal with it. That's why I have 2 accounts right now that are getting close to funded, which are these first 2 ones. And you can see that typically have more profit than the other ones. These are just dragging down a little lower, but hopefully they'll all get funded within time. So Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the BB3. Going over to the PRB entry. This was the PRB entry from today. We almost missed it. It happened so quickly. This is another reason why I don't like the PRB as much because it's very subjective. So market opened over here at 6:30. Price pushed up. We had the rejection right here. We had the space right here. We had another rejection right here, and that's why the entry took place right there. But price ended up reversing right back down. So as you guys can see, there's just not. I mean, the strategy is good. I think if you want to do a one-to-one strategy, anything above 50% is going to be good, right? Because you're going to be in profit. You're going to be up 7%. However, the BB3 is like way better for a one-to-one. So that's why I'm sticking to BB3. The song said there was a clean high-low momentum scalp at 749. So let's see. Yeah, right here. That was a nice one. So right here, we had a lower low. Buy signal breaking close past pivots 1 and 2. And that was the entry right there for a high-low momentum scalp. I don't know if anybody caught it, but this is kind of what a lot of people were looking for during the live session. As I mentioned during the live session, guys, the high-low momentum scalp is a really good strategy during a ranging market, which is kind of similar to what we're in right now. I don't think this is gonna stay. Hopefully by March, we're gonna go back into a trending market. And at that point, the high-low momentum scalp, it'll probably still be a good strategy, but it's probably not going to come up very often because you're not going to get a lot of back and forth. It's probably just going to come down, retrace, come down, retrace, come down, etc. But yeah, guys, I mean, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's not really too much to cover today because there was only one entry that came up during the live session that we took. We went over the PRB. I didn't take the trade, so it's not counting towards the results. The only trade that count towards the results are the ones that I take personally. Otherwise, let's see if there's anything else here. So here's Bloom's journal over here. Nice 15 wins, 12 losses, win-loss ratio of 56%. So not too bad. Bloom is still in negative, it looks like. So it looks like the profit differential here is a little different. Yeah, because he pulled out a little early for this PRB. Bad entry price. He took partials here. So yeah, as you guys can see, the problems here are like when you guys start to take partials. So Bloom's spreadsheet here is good. It's just he was taking partials, and that's why he's still in negative, even though he has more wins than losses. So that's kind of my thing too. Like what I have to do and what I have to learn is I have to learn to just let the trade run, right? I have to let it run to full TP or full stop loss, because if I keep taking partials, kind of like what is happening here with Bloom, is that he ends up with a lot less profit than he should. So it's all good, Bloom. I mean, you're doing good. The good thing is that your win rate's up, and you just need to work on holding the trades, because it looks like if you let these hold, like you took partials here, but if these ran to full TPs, you obviously would be in profit. So it's all good. You learn along the way, and it's good that you guys are making progress here. We have Maria over here. Win-loss ratio is at 53. She's slightly in profit, so nice work, Maria. She took partials for yesterday and today. Again, same thing like I mentioned. It's just really letting the trade run. I think now that we're doing the BB3 and not the PRB, Maria, you'll be doing a lot better because there's not going to be any guessing, right? You're going to know exactly when the entry comes up, and you might be off by like a few points for entry, but you're not going to miss the trade anymore like you did previously with the PRB. So we'll work on that. Let's see, we got Kevin over here. Win-loss ratio is a little low, but it's okay. He's getting better. We got Joshua over here. Total wins, 7 wins, 2 losses. Total profit of 4,232. Win-loss ratio of 77. Nice work, Joshua. We got Natasha here as well. Win-loss ratio of 73%. She's in profit 2,000 for the month so far. 14 wins, 5 losses. Great work. Yeah, it's good. It's good to see a lot of you guys here that are you're on track. But it's okay. It's okay if you guys are not on track. This is just 1 month in. You guys still have 2 months to really get it together. And I think now that we're changing our focus to just one strategy again per day, it'll make things a lot better. So Kane over here as well. He's up 36 points, 16 wins and 9 losses. Total win-loss ratio of 64%. Our main goal here is really to be above 50%, right? Because if you're above 50%, you should be in profit. As long as you're letting the trades run to full TP and full stop loss. Shannon over here as well. She has 24 wins, 16 losses, total profit of 1,372, total win-loss ratio of 66. So you guys can see whenever it's above 50, you're going to be in profit. And we'll see where this ends up going, moving forward. We got Lucas over here. Lucas got 5 wins, 7 losses. He's at negative 844 right now, which is fine. But it looks like it's getting better, Lucas. He had some losses up here, and I think he took some of these revenge trades, but you're starting to have some nice green down here. So I think if you have that consistency and it just builds up, you climb your way back up and then make your way back into profit. We have Hawk over here. Hawk slightly in negative. 17 wins, 17 losses, win-loss ratio of 50%. So it looks like, so it looks like he missed an entry over here, got in late. So yeah, that kind of sets you back a little bit for the liquidity. But it's good. It's good to see that, some of you guys here are doing your own strategies and some of you guys are following me. So it's just up to preference here, like what you guys want to do. You guys don't have to follow me, but it's good that you guys are taking notes so that you guys understand what are the issues here. Because it seems like a lot of you guys are doing better. You guys are going in an upwards trajectory, identifying what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and what you need to focus on moving forward. So let's see. Nikki's asking, are you going weekly next week for the mentorship? Yeah, so next week we're going to start moving to weekly. I'll discuss with you guys if you guys want to do it during the week or if you guys want to just do it at the end. I'll make time for you guys for whatever you guys prefer. If you guys like these types of sessions where we're kind of just meeting right after the live session, we can do this because I think this is probably works best for you guys while the market is still in your mind. So what we can do here is we can probably meet on Mondays or we can meet on Fridays. At the beginning of the week, we can cover what happened the week prior, or we can meet on Friday and cover what we went through that specific week. So, it's just really up to your guys' preference. I'll try to work around your guys' schedule. But it seems like a lot of you guys are good now. So you guys don't really need me to hold your hand through this. You guys are pretty much able to just stick to the game plan and really just fine tune. So Maria said next week I'll be a little away as she returns to Costa Rica. Yeah, no worries, Maria. You can hop on when you want to, or you can also just recap on the replays if you'd like as well. Or if there's anything specific that you'd like me to cover, Maria, I can also cover it, and then you can just review it on the replay. See a question from Delicia. She's asking, or she's saying, there was a breakout V3 at 723. Let me check. Yeah, so there was one right here at 723. There was a breakout V. Well, I guess it wouldn't be considered a breakout V3 because, or if you're looking for a continuation, because you'd have to be going in the direction of the trend, Delicia. So the trend over here was bearish. We don't use the trend for the regular breakout, but for the continuation, we use the trend. So right here, the trend was bearish, so you'd be looking for a sell. This is a breakout V3 pattern though. So there's the buy signal, and it's followed by a green candle. Like I mentioned before, these are my parameters, right? So I use the trend for it, but you don't have to follow it this way. If you guys have done your testing and you guys have found that, okay, the breakout V3 works in both directions, you don't really need a trend, then you can apply it that way. Because initially, when I first created this strategy, that was exactly how I would do it, Delicia. I would look for breakout V3 continuations in both directions. I would just look for a buy signal, green candle, and I would take it in that direction. But what I noticed is that sometimes if you go against the trend and the trend is very strong, this works good during these types of markets because we're in a ranging market, right? So maybe if you guys can identify if the market's going sideways, then you can take them in both directions. You can take buys, you can take sells, because there's not really much of a strong trend, right? Like for example, here, there's not really much of a strong trend, but this right here would be an example of being tricky, right? Because there was a buy signal, green candle, and then this thing just completely reversed. But it was also at a red flag. So there's different factors that come into here. You could trade in both directions. You just want to avoid the red flags for sure, because you can see how price came up, rejected right back down, and then it came right back up for a retest. So yeah, it's just up to preference, guys. I'll give you guys the foundation. of like how I apply the strategy. But if you guys want to take off the trend, if you guys want to add a trend, if you guys want to take off the V1 variation, if you guys want to add it, it's just really up to your preference. It's the more confluences is better. But I think if you're taking regular scalps, the main thing to look out for would be the red flag. So just make sure you're not trading at the sessions, opening price, news price, et cetera, because that's where price gets manipulated. So, all right, let me see. One more thing here. So Lucas said, yeah, definitely getting better. He set on a lot of trades at the beginning of the month since he's newly back, but happy where he's at with profits. But most importantly, at the end, where he's at with his trade psychology. Yeah, exactly, guys. Like, you got to keep in mind that your trade psychology and your mental is really what's going to dictate how well you do with trading, right? There's a lot of people who will get I think the people who pass their challenges in one day, their trade psychology is all screwed up. Like that's just how it is, right? They're all screwed up because they get this this false sense of gratification, right? They think, okay, I passed it in one day, I can just keep doing this. And then they try to do the same thing, and immediately right after they blow their account. I mean, it really sucks because there's some people in the group who've been part of the group for a while, and they found consistency, and they were actually really good. But then it's the same story every time. It's like, I want to say his name, but I don't want to say it because he was doing good for a while. We talked, and he was on track, and then he actually left the group. He was like, "Oh, I'll do this on my own." So he left the group and he started trading on his own. He's still on on the YouTube live stream, but he's not following us anymore. He was with us for a little bit. He was doing great. And then he thought he was good. So he did his own thing, and now he blew his account. And now he's thinking about giving up on trading, which I can't have any control over that, right? If you think trading is not for you, then that's your case. But I think everybody in this group is doing good. We just had one straggler, unfortunately, that he thought he could do it all by himself. And he just went back into that same cycle, the same cycle that I've drawn for you guys before, right? He does well with the group. He gets greedy, wants to do his own thing, starts losing, blows the account, realizes it screws up, rejoins the group, and he's just in that same cycle over and over again, right? So if I was to put this over here again, right? Profitable, the group. It's greedy, it's unknown. Losing streak, use group, close account, blames everyone but self. Break from trading. Rejoins group. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably gone through this too. Like, joins a group, profitable group, gets greedy, starts to trade on his own, goes on a losing streak, leaves the group, blows the account, blames everybody except himself, takes a break from trading, and then the cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. There's a lot of people in the group that are like this. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of people who are like this, and you'll see them in the group. Like, if you guys have been part of our group for a while, you'll see them in the chat. They'll pop into the chat, they'll talk for a bit, talk a lot, they'll kind of disappear for a couple of months, come back into the group, and then it's just the same process. And I know these people because they've been trading with us for years. It's crazy. It's like they just keep going in the same cycle over and over again. So I'm glad that you guys here in the mentoring group are getting better, and you guys are actually not, like I said, you just gotta cut out this. You gotta cut out the greed. You gotta avoid the losing streak. don't blame people. You'll be good, right? You just stay profitable. It's like a profitable cycle. You do good, consistent, do good, consistent, do good, consistent, and you just keep getting better from there. So yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, I think that might be it. Let's see. Delicia over here mentioned got it. She was using V1 for confluence. Yeah, no, you can do that, Delicia. So if you want to do that and use a V1 for confluence, like you can create your own strategy from like what I've already put together. Like you can use a V1 confluence and then just take any breakout from there and then don't even factor in the trend because it's a good criteria. You know, you can always mix and match different confluences, identify what you like better. If you like using the trend, if you don't, then and then build from there. Because this pattern here, the momentum signal with the green candle or momentum signal with a follow-up, it's a pretty good pattern. It's a good pattern to follow because it usually continues in that direction as long as you follow it properly. Yeah, see, Randy said, Sean, this week, his perfect executions were up from 3 to 6 last week to 5 to 6 this week. Nice. It's a good thing. Yeah, Randy said his 59-second thing is quite the hack. Slightly in profit for February, but down in points due to the changes that we had in contract sizing. But it's good progress. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. The 59-second thing that Randy's talking about, guys, is so typically when I take the entry, so for example, over here for the breakout entry, if you guys remember what I was mentioning, you have to wait for the candle to close red, right? If the candle isn't for sure red, then I'm not going to enter the trade until it actually closes. But when it's for sure red, like for example here, this candle was a big red candle. When it got down to like the last second, I entered like a second early so I can get in at that perfect price. And that's what he means by the 59-second rule, Kevin. So basically, when we're waiting for the minute to expire, so you guys can see over here, we have the counter right on the side. Basically, when it goes down to the very last second mark, if the candle's for sure going to be an entry for you, like for example, right here, we have a buy signal and it's a big green candle, right? If we know for sure it's going to close green, then you can just enter a second early, and then you get in at that perfect price point. That's typically what I do. I usually just count down. I don't really look at the candle until it's like the last 10 or 5 seconds because I don't want to be looking at it and then it's like giving you this weird doji, right? Like something like this. If it's something like this, then you for sure should wait till the candle closes. If you get in late, that's fine. I'd rather get in late than have to miss the trade or have to get in early and then it's not an actual entry, right? So yeah, it's really just waiting, waiting and anticipating. That's really what it is. Yeah, exactly. Randy said it's counting down and giving slight pause after the 59th second and entering. Yeah, exactly. I do the same thing. If the candle's for sure, then I'll enter like probably on that 59th second. If it's not for sure, then I'll just wait for it to actually close. Yeah, Delicia said, OMG, thanks for explaining the 59th second. I mean, getting in a lot of ticks away from entry. I'll practice this on the paper trading account. Yeah, you just got to look at the timer. You know, I even was getting to a point where I was going to buy a huge clock with just the timer. Like if you guys have seen those at the gym and stuff, it's like a huge clock and it has like a second timer. I wanted to put that on my wall, like right in front of me, because I wanted to make sure that I get in at prime entry. Because if you're off by a second or 2 seconds, it'll make all the difference, right? Yeah, exactly. Nick said always got to watch the timer. Can't rely on the candle closing. Yeah, because sometimes the candles will lag, right? Sometimes they won't even close, and then it'll the next second, the next candle's like all the way past the profit. So I always look at the timer. The timer is always what I'm focused on. And even if it doesn't close, then I'm still looking at the timer. The timer is key. But all right, guys, I think that's it for this mentoring session. I think it was pretty good. We covered everything that we needed. I pretty much explained why I'm taking the breakout V3 only, and why is it such a good strategy compared to the PRB. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have more profits to post up, or if you guys have more questions, feel free to send them over. Otherwise, today was a great day. Great day of profits for all of us, it looks like, and great day for a lot of people here getting funded. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, I have one question here from Jeff. Jeff said, Sean, for the Rebel console copier, do you set up the following guard or something? What do you mean by that, Jeff? Do you set up for the following guard for the follow guard? Hmm. I'm trying to figure out because I don't really, I mean, follow regard. No, so I don't. So all I do is I go to the rebel console and then I just set it normally. I know what you're talking about. I that was an update. So like they just updated the follow regard. I don't know what it is. I've never used it before, but I don't use it. I just set it up normally. So I just have it copy exact and that's about it. But yeah, I think the follow regard is good for like if you're like taking a lot of trades or if you're taking a trade that like kind of that has a bigger RR. But yeah, I've never used the follow regard. I know it's a new feature that they just released like last month, but I've never used it myself. So, all right, guys. Yeah, no problem, Jeff. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up and I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.